Hi everyone. Today we're going to be adding and subtracting fractions. So adding and subtracting fractions is awesome if everything works out the way we want it to. However, life doesn't work out the way we always want to. So there's a couple of different things that we have to remember. So let's look at the easiest first. Adding and subtracting with common denominators. So this is a super important rule that we can never ever forget, is that if the denominators are the same, then we can just add or subtract the numerators and keep the denominators the same. Don't forget to simplify your answer if need be. So our denominators are the same. Denominators are both 4. So we do not add the 4, except we keep them the same. The only thing we're adding are these numerators. So 1 plus 2, which is going to be 3. And the reason for that is because we're able to see that each of these fractions are cut into the same amount of pieces. So I have 1/4 and 2/4. They're both in the size of fourths, so I can just combine them together. If they're not the same size, then it's really hard to judge how much is one or the other. So we need to make sure that they're common denominators before we add or subtract. The same thing as I said with subtraction. Our denominators are the same. I'm going to keep that denominator number and subtract the numbers on top. So 3 minus 1 is 2. That's when adding and subtracting numbers is not as step-oriented. However, life's not always going to work like that. So let's take a look at adding and subtracting with unlike denominators. Oh, wrong way. Let's see if I can fit us all on one page. There we are. So as I said before, we, in this case, have numbers or fractions that are different sizes. Because they're different sizes, we can't just put them together. We need them to be the same size in order to do that. So here we are. Step 1, find the least common denominator. That's also known as LCD. But guess what? You've actually done this process similar before. And you can find this by finding the least common multiple, or the LCM. So I have my denominators down here, 7 and 2. And I need to find the smallest number that both 7 and 2 can multiply into. So I have the number 7, and I can just list off the multiples. So 7, 14, and 21. I'm going to stop right there, see if that's enough. For 2, again, listing the multiples again, I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Woo! Ding, 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 ding. I now have the smallest number that 7 and 2 can go into, and that's the number 14. Notice how everything we're learning is coming back? Whew. Awesome stuff right there. So that was step 1. Step 2 is multiply the numerator and the denominator of each fraction by the number needed to reach the LCD in the denominator. So what I mean by that is that our LCD, or least common denominator, is 14. In order for me to get from 7 to 14, which is our goal, I need to multiply the number 7 by 2. But what you do to one part of the fraction, you need to do to the other. So I'm going to multiply the top by 2 as well. And 5 times 2 is going to be 10. And that gives us a new fraction of 10/14. Same thing with the other fraction. I have 1/2. In order to get to that common size of 14, I need to multiply 2 by 7. But what I do at the bottom of the fraction, I need to do at the top. And 1 times 7 is 7. So this is where our equivalent fractions come in. So I now have the new fractions of, I'm trying to find the color, the match, here we are, 10/14 plus 7/14. Perfect. Leads us into step 3, which is add or subtract the new numerators and keep the denominators the same. So now these fractions are the same size. We know for sure that both of them are in 14ths. So that is my denominator. And we're going to add the numbers on the top. 10 plus 7 is 17. Yay! You would think that we'd be done, but we're not quite because we need to do step 4, which is to simplify it if need be. And to simplify it, we're going to turn it into a mixed number. So 14 can go into 17 one time. And remember, we found that by taking our numerator, putting it inside the division box, and our denominator on the outside. 1 times 14 is 14. When we subtract, we have a remainder of 3. That will give us our final answer of 1 whole taken from the top up above. Our remainder is our new numerator, and our denominator stays the same. So 1 3/14 is our answer. Yay! Good job. One more step we have to look at, which is adding and subtracting of mixed numbers. Here we go. It is a similar process as before, but the first step is going to turn mixed numbers into improper fractions. So in this case, I have 5 1/3 plus 1 1/2. I'm going to turn 5 1/3 into an improper fraction by taking our denominator, multiplying it by that whole number to get 15. Then I'm taking my 15 and I'm adding it to my numerator to get 16. That will be my total new numerator with the denominator staying the same. So 16/3 is my answer for that part. Same thing with the other fraction. Taking 2 times 1 to equal 2. Then I'm going to add it with the numerator to get 3 to get a new fraction of 3/2. So I did my step 1, turn my mixed numbers into improper fractions. Step 2, add or subtract the fractions. Okay, here we go. So I have the number, or the fraction I should say, 16/3 plus 3/2. Uh-oh, these numbers do not have a common denominator. I can't add these together because they're not the same size. So what I'm going to do is find some multiples of 3, just like what we did on the other side. So 3, 6, 9. Let's see if that's enough. Then I'm going to do the same thing with 2. 2, 4, 6. Woo! Ding, 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 ding. I do see a number that is going to, or the smallest number that both 3 and 6, or 3 and 2 can go into, which is 6. And that's what I need. I need to multiply 3 times something in order to equal 6. Well, I know that 3 times 2 equals 6. So when I multiply the denominator, I'm multiplying the numerator as well. And 16 times 2 is 32. Same thing over here. I want a common denominator of 6. In order to get from 2 to 6, I need to multiply by 3. What I do in the denominator, I'm going to do with the numerator as well. And 3 times 3 is 9. Whew, that's a big process, but we are almost there. I'm taking my new fractions of 32/6 and adding it with 9/6. Let's take a look. We got the same size denominator. Awesome. So that stays the same, but we're going to add the numbers on top. 32 plus 9 is equal to the number 41. And great job! We have our answer as an improper fraction, but we're not quite there yet. We still need to do our step 3, which is to simplify. So again, I took my numerator, put it inside the division box, my denominator's on the outside. So 6 can go into the number 41 6 times without going over. 6 times 6 is 36. And when we subtract, I'm left with the number 5. That number at the top, my 6, is my new whole number. My remainder is my new numerator, and my denominator stays the same. 6 and 5/6 is our answer. Great job and good luck.